Hi, fourth graders. Welcome to another Wednesday of SEL or Second Steps, Social Emotional Learning. And the last several weeks, we've been talking about strong emotions. And last week, we particularly focused on what do we do when that strong emotion is anger, and how do we respond, and how do we calm our bodies down. And another really common feeling, especially this year in 2020, is a feeling called anxiety. So this week, we're going to focus on managing anxiety. And this will be our last lesson like this of 2020 because it's just about 2021. So our learning targets for today are I can identify situations that cause anxiety. Different people react different ways. So certain things might cause you anxiety that might make other people feel differently, right? So an example we're going to use in our lesson today is a big test. Some kids get super excited for a big test because they get to show what they know and they get to show the teacher all the things they've learned. And other kids get really anxious or have a lot of anxiety about it. So we want to identify what causes you anxiety. And then we're going to talk about some more calming down strategies. What else can we do if we're feeling that anxiety? How can we get our body and our mind to calm down so that we can do our best even throughout that? So let's pretend that right now I told you, take out a blank piece of paper. We're going to have a surprise multiplication test. Now, Miss McCormick would probably say, no big deal. These fourth graders are awesome at multiplication. But if I said, you need to write down the answers as fast as you possibly can, you only have one chance to answer each problem, and I'm not going to give you any extra time to work on it. Those parameters, those ideas might make you a little bit more anxious. The fact that you only have one chance, and if you find out, oh no, I made a mistake, I want to go back, and I said, oh, you can't, that might cause a little bit more anxiety because you're nervous that you might have made a mistake. And the fact that I say you're going to have to go really fast, it's timed, might also give you anxiety. I know some of you have anxiety when you do reflex math because it's timed, right? They want you to go quick. And so how do we deal with that anxiety? What do we do if we feel anxious about things like that? Think about how you would feel if I said you were going to have that test. Some of you, again, might feel super confident and be like, awesome, bring it on, Mrs. Marsh. I'm really good at multiplication facts. No big deal. Some of you might feel just super sad, like, oh, I just really don't like multiplication and I don't want to have to take this test. And some of you might feel really, really nervous, like you're going to make a mistake and you're not really going to show what you know. So, what are some things that you have learned already? Let's think back to the last lessons. What have you learned already that you could maybe do if you're starting to feel kind of a strong emotion that maybe is going to make you not do your best on this test? Think. So, one of the strategies we've talked about is naming the feeling, being aware in ourselves of that feeling and saying, oh, I feel super sad and down about this test. I feel kind of depressed about this test because I don't think I'm going to do very well. Or I feel really nervous that I'm going to goof up. Okay. Another strategy we talked about is give yourself some positive self talk. Wait a second. We've been working on multiplication and I've been getting better and better. And even if I don't get every single problem right, I'm still going to show that I've improved this year. That's positive self talk, right? Instead of like, oh man, I'm not very good at this, we tell ourselves positive things. Another thing we talked about is counting for ourselves to get our brain and our body back into its best shape. And last week, we even practiced a special kind of counting with breathing where we breathe in for 4, hold it for 4, and then breathe out for 8. And those slow breaths out can really help us to calm ourselves down. Now, that was talking about anger, but it can also be helpful when you're feeling anxious too. The last one that we talked about is just thinking about something else for a little bit, getting our brain off of it for a little bit. Now, that might not always be possible if right now you're taking the test, but sometimes if you just start thinking about more positive things or more exciting things, your brain can kind of stop feeling fixated on, oh no, what if I, right? It'll take you to a different place. So that's another thing we've talked about. So, what exactly is anxiety? It's a fancy sounding word. If you look at this picture, it tells you some other words that you might hear that are very similar to anxiety. So tense, panic attack, worry, stress, headache, scared, right? Jumpy, tension. So when you think about how a lot of people have been feeling in 2020, they've been nervous about, are they going to have a job? They've been nervous about, well, what about school? Will we get to go to school? Do we not get to go to school? They've been nervous about COVID-19. They've had anxiety about that. Like, am I going to get it? Is somebody that I know going to get it? What's going to happen, right? That is what we call anxiety. It's very similar to when people say, "Oh, I'm so stressed out." Can be similar to that, but anxiety is a worry about something, especially something that's either happening right now or that you're worried is going to happen. Okay? And so when you're thinking about anxiety, a lot of times you have to tell yourself, "Okay, yeah, I can worry about that, but if I worry about it, is it actually going to make it different or better?" And a lot of times you can tell yourself, "No. Worrying about that, having anxiety about that isn't going to help the situation." Right? If I'm all by myself and I'm worried that I'm going to get lost in a woods, yeah, I might want to be like, yeah, listen to your body. You should maybe not go for a walk in the woods by yourself, right? That's maybe not a good idea. But if I'm anxious about something that I really can't help, like I have to take this multiplication test, worrying about it isn't going to make me do better on the test, right? That anxiety is not going to help. And so we want to be able to calm ourselves in a situation like that so that we can do our best and to think about the fact that anxiety isn't helping. Okay. Just like we typically do, we have a video. And in this video, there is a student who is going to feel anxious. And I want you to watch what he's doing and think about what advice would you give him? What would you tell him he should do? How should he calm himself down? Right? Remember that song, Stop, Name That Feeling, Calm Down, right? Is there anything from that we can use? Let's watch.
Ugh, ugh. I have a really important math test today. Hate math. I'm not good at it. I'm gonna get a bad grade. Should have studied. My mom's going to be really mad. I don't know why it's so easy for everyone else. Guess I'm just stupid. Man, I really hate math. I'm really bad at taking tests. And this test is going to be so hard.
All right. Think about the mental place. Think about the mental place that he was at. He knows there's a test. He's definitely having anxiety about it. But what does he keep doing? Yeah, he keeps putting himself down. He keeps using negative self-talk, saying how much trouble he's going to get in, how bad he is at math, how he's stupid. He's telling himself all these negative things. And at that point, his body is going to start believing that. And he's going to start acting that way. And he's going to get stuff wrong on the test, even stuff he knew, because his brain is in that spot, right? So think of something you might tell him if he was a friend of yours and he actually said these thoughts out loud. If he said something like that to you, remember he's like, oh, it's easy for everybody else. What might you say to him or what might you suggest that he could do? It's probably too late to study. That was one of his ideas, like, oh, I should have studied. What would you suggest? I think I would say to him, hey, wait a second. You're not bad at math. I've seen you do these problems with us when we're in our group together. You just need to take your time and make sure you double check what you're doing, right? I would give him some positive self-talk to change that over. You might have thought of tell him to take some deep breaths, to think differently. You might have said, oh, he needs to name what he's feeling. He's saying these things about himself, but he's not really naming what he's feeling. He's not saying, man, I am so worried and anxious about this test. Maybe he just needs to stop himself and say that, right? So giving suggestions to other people can sometimes help you think of how you might manage a similar situation, and it can help you in the future. I have one more strategy that I want to show you, and it's called a rainbow breath. Some of you might have done this before, but it's an interesting one, and it's from GoNoodle. I know a lot of you know GoNoodle.
We can use our bodies to change how we feel. This exercise will teach you how to raise your energy and face your day. Close your eyes or keep them open. Have fun with it. Sit tall. You can be on the ground with your legs crossed or sitting at the front edge of your chair with your feet flat on the floor. Let your arms hang down at your sides. Open and close your hands a couple times to warm up your body. Now turn the palms of your hands so that they're facing forward and stretch your fingers long. Keeping your arms straight, slowly float them up from your sides. Feel how wide your hands can reach, to the side and then up. Reach a little higher if it feels okay for your body. Now let your arms come down and return to your sides.
You see how the rainbow shows up while we do it?
This time, if we match our breathing with our movement, it might help us to feel more alert, calm, more energized, and in control. Notice how you feel when you add your breath to your movement. Turn your palms out and reach wide for a bigger rainbow. Fill with air the whole way up. And if you need to take another breath at any time, go ahead. Do that. It's all good. Once your arms are up, go ahead and exhale. Relax up there. Enjoy the rainbow. Your rainbow has faded away. Let's make another one as you come down. Breathe in to get ready. Breathe out and see the rainbow form as your arms float down to your sides.
I'm going to stop it right there. Thinking about a visual like that, like the rainbow going up, right, can really help you take your mind off the worry of what you're thinking about and get your brain back in a good place to maybe do some problem solving or make some good decisions about what you need to do. All right. So just another strategy that you can use if you're having big feelings, especially a feeling like anxiety, because that can help you to calm down. See you next time.